I'm not on my own. My heart lost control over our guest not once, but twice today. Wow. Welcome to the Yeah Come On Show, brought to you by Circle 285 for all your insurance needs. If you're not happy, maybe you're paying too much, maybe you're just not sure, get a quote. Go to circle285.com. A lot of people are with like certain, I don't know, insurance companies you've been with for like 20 years. And if you've got a perfect record, your house doesn't get broken into, you don't total cars, you might get a better rate. And that's where you go with Circle 285. Also, special thanks to Oxygen Financial. 2 locations, Buckhead and right here in Alpharetta where our studios are. Go to oxygenfinancial.net. Ask for Ted Jenkin for all your financial needs. I'm Southside Steve. It is the Yeah Come On Show. To my left, my co-host, Mr. Brett Barney, who is drinking, I don't know what he's drinking today.
I'm banging.
What?
I'm always banging.
You're banging.
Bang.
Okay. Some trendy-ass drink. Something, I don't know.
So trendy, Tyler hasn't even had one yet.
Okay.
Yep.
And speaking of Tyler Maynard, our on-again, off-again producer. Is he a secondary producer? Does he do anything for you other than run the show?
No, he does a lot for me.
Okay, good.
Don't you, Tyler?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's stay out
We
of
don't
that.
talk about that on air. Yeah.
Hold on. I
no.
try not to come on every show, but
But you do.
Tyler Maynard's my baby boy, and if he's doing some sexual favors for employment, I don't know that I can handle that.
There's a reason he's full-time.
But he told me that he was full time because he was doing such great works on the oxygen side of things.
I mean, you got to put those 40 hours in.
He drives. He says goodbye to me in the morning in the driveway, and I just feel like he's going off to work, not to get on his knees.
Is he a kiss on the cheek or kiss on the mouth kind of son?
Well, we've always been a mouth kisser in the Maynard household. That's the way the father liked it. That's the way Tyler likes it, and that's the way our dog Juju likes it.
What?
Our dog name is Juju.
A new addition to the family.
Little doggy. Shut up, boy. Sorry. Love you, Tyler. We will get started with our guest. This is a guest that I know, well, pretty much like the back of my hand. It is a family member with a different name. Goes by a different religion, but he's actually a lot smarter than I am, too. But he keeps me around because I make him laugh. I will say that this guest has probably helped most of Atlanta in a tight situation. Either you had done something stupid and you needed his help, or maybe you were in the wrong place at the wrong time and had an accident and needed his help. We'll introduce that guest in just 1 second. Before that, we've got housekeeping duties. Those of you that write in, the come-oners, we've got a couple of written messages that we need to take care of, and then we will move on with our guest. And you don't want to miss this guest because I can't think there's a person watching or listening that hasn't needed him once or twice in their life. That's serious. Yeah, I'm talking about a doctor that cures sexual transmitted diseases. Hold on. We're coming your way.
Oh, we're come on in your way. Come on.
Hold on. It's right here in front of me. I just tasted it. Also, we have a new kind of almost sponsor, Bullet. We love Bullet. I love the Daniels, don't get me wrong, but Jackie hasn't been good to me, and I'm switching right now to straight up Bullet. And I just want to thank those fine guys for giving us some alcohol. We started with this bottle last week, so it's been a good week. Thank you.
And I didn't go to Steve's house and finish that.
No, for those of you that don't know, Brett is still not allowed at my home. He's on 2-month suspension.
Yep.
He's only been to my house once, got intoxicated on moonshine, pulled a knife out, threatened the neighbor's kid, said the F-bomb 18 times in front of my 2.5-year-old son, and also let me know what a businessman he was and that he was going to get his on the Yeah Come On show. Thank you.
Speaking about getting some, you want to hear some Yeah Come On?
Let's hear it.
Whatever. All right, I started binging the whole backlog of this podcast right after Christmas break began on Bailey and Southside. I finally caught up and love it.
Thank you.
Huge fan, Bailey and Southside fan, that is. But this extra bit of content every week is a pure joy. Keep up the great work. Also, Steve, I met you for the first time at the Chambly Summer Concert when Sister Hazel was playing. I had a long ponytail like you. I appreciate the picture. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on. Long-haired brothers got to keep together. And keep in mind when somebody criticizes you and wants to call you a redneck or, like some hairband guy, let them know that this country was founded on men with ponytails. Thank you.
Or like powdered wigs.
There was some real hair too. It wasn't all powdered. Paul Revere had real hair. I know for a fact.
Body hair?
Yeah, and Ben Franklin too. He just didn't have it on top, had it on the bottom. Go to healthehair.com.
Greatest president ever.
Oh,
All
so
right.
pretty on you, so pretty. So pretty.
This was the most this was the most awesome cringe-worthy show y'all have done so far. Speaking of Juniper last week,
We had a 16-year-old phenom in this studio. She's a girl. It's true. She markets clothing, and she has 110,000 followers. Incredible.
just by playing a game on YouTube, ridiculous to me. This was the most cringeworthy show so far. Oh my gosh. Southside Steve has not looked more like Jerry Sandusky than he has in this episode. Whoa, makes me a little ashamed to watch this show mixed with Brett Barney looking like one of those flyers warning the neighborhood that a sexual predator has just moved into the neighborhood.
Neither. Am I creepy? Really? Let me tell you, I have had sex with a 16-year-old. Somebody had to say it. I did. The year was 1983.
How old were you?
We were 16.
Okay, all right.
It was 16.
You can't leave that part out.
Oh, sorry. I was 16, she was 16, and then I turned 17, and we kept the relationship a-going.
Finally, Steve's nemesis, Divorce 2020, at the Yeah Come On show.
Yeah.
I'm here to offer a truce to Southside Steve.
I would love a truce. I'm so tired of people predicting divorce on Amanda and I when I have a kid on the way.
I'm willing to let the hate go if he unblocks me and lets me. Can I use the F word?
Yes.
I don't know.
I just want to prepare people. The F word's about to be mentioned. Go.
And lets me fuck Helen. Who's Helen?
That's my mother.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Wow,
Jeez.
that took a turn.
So then we're even.
Jeez.
Deal?
I mean, that's up to my mom. But she's married.
But you got to offer
second.
up your mom and unblock him on Twitter, and then he'll call it a truce. And he'll stop hounding you every week
so
and
wrong.
every morning on your show constantly.
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to think about it. I don't know why you're into my mom, but let me think about it. I'm not going to say no. I'll talk to mom because I'm ready for it to stop. So if I've got to sacrifice my mother, you piece of crap, then I'll do it. Good God. What kind of moral issue. I mean, that's twisted. That's pretzel twisted. Whatever. Here's the thing, and let me tell you right now, if you mess up, this next guest is always on my side. He'll help me, even if I was wrong. You know what? I wouldn't call this guest if I was wrong. I'd be like, I don't want to tarnish your career. I'm a piece of crap. I deserve to rot in jail. All right, here we go. Today's guest on the Yeah Come On show represented people all over the state of Georgia. He's an author of a 1,200-page book entitled Georgia DUI Law. Wow. And I'll tell you right now, judges use this book to actually learn the law themselves, which means he's written 1,200 more pages in a book than I've ever read.
Truth.
I've read a couple books. I read Old Man in the Sea.
How many pictures were in them?
I don't know. There was a few illustrations, and I read.
Doesn't count if Brooks reads them to you.
I read most of the autobiography of Aerosmith. So there you go. He's a graduate of a National College for DUI Defense, which is at Harvard, which is the Harvard, I should say, of colleges for DUI defense. And because, well, he conducted the classes actually at Harvard Law School. He's one of the top 12, damn, I didn't know that, top 12 lawyers, not just in America. We're talking about North America. Yeah, that still includes the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, the Dominican, Panama, El Salvador, and let's not forget Trinidad or Tobago. Tobago? Yeah,
Tobago.
you know, tomato. And every other country/territory on our continent. That's huge. Top 12 DUI lawyer. He's also founded and partnered Still Horse Law. This is for motorcycle riders that are injured in motorcycle accidents because somebody wasn't paying attention. He also handles personal injury law as well. So if you got injured in a car, they'll still talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big yeah come on to my dear friend who was also in my wedding. Stood for me, he did. The DUI lawyer himself, Mr. George Stein.
Thank you very much. That's a grand introduction.
It's all true.
Yes, it is.
And there's more I can put, but it's all true. Cheers to George Stein. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Brett Barney. You probably will deal with him one day on a DUI.
God, I hope not. Uber.
You got to be careful coming out of Avalon. No.
Thank you. See? There you go.
That's the spot, huh?
That's a tip. Any other tips for a drinker that drives around in a Camaro with silver stripes? That's not low profile.
It's called Uber. Yes.
Okay. What about Tyler Maynard, my on-again, off-again producer, rides around in a Prius? Do you think police officers think a guy in a Prius is probably drunk?
Usually not. It depends. You know.
And what if he has a sticker that says Hillary is the bomb?
Yeah. Well, then he's definitely getting stopped. No.
Such bullshit.
Would you find that most policemen are conservatives?
Yeah, yes, very much so.
So keep putting your damn Democratic stickers on your car. Get your tickets, get your DUIs. Hell yeah. The show's a little right. It's not 100% right. I will tell you, we are the kind of right that we will listen to the left. I won't get angry. I won't dress in all black. I won't use the F-bomb and throw things at you or try to beat you up. I'll listen to you. I will.
It's like 99%, right?
It is, but I'll be honest with you. If the left has one thing, I don't know what that is yet, but if they did, I'd pay attention to it.
Hey, it's better. I mean, give us 1% of wrong.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that liquor tastes good. Do you need a bullet? Sorry, I'm just doing the best I can. We need a liquor sponsor. You know what? This is starting to rack up. We spend a lot of money on our budget. That's why I'm going to have to bring George Stein on as a damn advertiser. Hi, George Stein, DUI law. See the Steel Horse logo? Yeah, what do you think of that? That's nice. I will tell you that I've been with George. Well, we've been together for a long time, haven't we, honey?
Yeah, 20 years.
Over 20. Yeah, I think right at 20 years. I made that sound sappy. But George is not just a guest. Those of you that heard him on the regular guys, also on Bailey and Southside, always doing the radio segments. You had your own radio segment. We had Jamie Bindle on probably about 7 weeks ago. Also owner of the Punchline, but an attorney as well. And you guys did a law show. What was that called again on WGST?
Yeah, for 3 years we did The Legal Edge. It was a weekly 4-hour talk show.
Yeah, think about it. You've got an attorney right there. And, most attorneys, the clock starts ticking. I mean, you guys have to make money. That's how you get paid. When somebody calls, you're basically on the clock, correct, usually?
Absolutely, yeah. You got to be available because in their time of need, they want to have answers real fast.
And you want to charge them for that.
Well, usually that's how it works, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, George. But what I was saying is the show you did on The Legal Edge, as well on the regular guys on 96 Rock, as well as Rock 100.5, Bailey and Southside on Rock 100.5, it was free advice.
It was,
That's what was great.
It was kind of my community service, to give back to the community. So when they called and wanted to know, what they were facing when they beat up their wife, I could tell them, exactly what they're facing. So
it happens. It happens. Tyler, remember the time you beat up your girlfriend?
I'm Brett, but yes, I do remember the time Tyler beat up his girlfriend. I do remember that time when Tyler did that.
Damn, I want to thank Bullet.
Tyler's got them hands. Tyler's got them hands.
I was thinking Tyler, but I associated it with Brett. I don't know why. You figure out which one hit somebody.
Yeah.
It's not up to me. No, we do not hit women on this show, but we'll hit a dude if they need it.
Well, now you're saying that I have to assume gender.
Okay.
And it is 2020.
What would you do if somebody came out of the third bathroom? You're like, I don't know if I can hit this person. I don't know.
If you're questioning if it's a man or a woman.
Yeah, you don't know. And how much trouble do you get into for that?
And what if they just rocked you right in the mouth?
You're like, okay, I have to hit you back. Or not. If a woman hits you in the mouth, you can't hit her back.
No, you can't. I mean, there is that doctrine of self-defense. You're allowed to defend yourself, but it never goes well if you hit a woman. So that's the mistake most guys make.
You have to run.
Right.
You have to run away from her or get away. You cannot deal with it. You have to run.
What about the whole GameStop woman guy that was like, "It's ma'am"? You know what I'm talking about? The guy that was in GameStop, but it was a woman, and it's like,
what's GameStop?
Man.
Is that a game?
Yeah, they sell like used video games, and the guy was like, "It's ma'am."
I think I did.
It was
see
a
that
viral
clip.
video.
Right,
I mean, it only
right.
had like 50 million views about
George, you remember
5 months ago.
You remember GameStop? You spent a small fortune
Oh, yeah,
there for
no,
your son.
I've been there several times. I just don't remember it's ma'am.
George's son had it all. George is a wealthy man. He is. George's son, and it'd be like, Father, and he's saying this from the back seat, Father, can we stop at the GameStop? I think I want to pick up a new Nintendo.
Not until we get some grape Poupon.
And George will whip that car in there. Whatever it takes for you to leave me and your mother alone. Or me and the girl I'm dating now.
Hey, listen, I'm just a hardworking guy who's trying to feed my kids.
You are, and you fed them well.
Caviar.
God dang. No doubt. Hey, y'all, we got leftover caviar. Daddy's sorry. and there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, I joke with you because I know you, but George Stein was, I actually helped get George on the air. People don't realize
He did. He
George
did me
has
a huge favor.
everything in the world owed to me. I mean,
Wait, okay.
Absolutely.
How did you guys meet? Like, where did this all begin? Because I didn't even know you guys knew. I didn't know you were in his wedding.
we met at a club.
We met online. So.
Yeah, it was a club. We were both at Bendovers.
I was thinking Craigslist
No.
back page.
No, George came in, and I think you had been a client, and then you approached me. I forget exactly how we met. That's a great question. I should know that. Do you know it? It's like I've always known.
Yeah, I think it was in the late 90s.
Yeah.
99 or so. Met, was a guest on air.
That was it. And then we formed a relationship after that.
Regarding one of the interns.
Yes.
Wait, what?
There was a situation with an intern. I'd actually known you before then. I remember that. I'd known you for about a year. There was an intern that I actually was sleeping with. I can say that now. I mean, I can say it then. She was hot. She was hot.
She was what number?
She wasn't the
323?
smartest girl in the world, but she was hot. And she had gotten back with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend had an issue on the side of the road where basically they were experiencing third base while he's behind the wheel. And there was an issue where they got out of the car. They were forced out of the car. She ran her mouth. She was told to shut up. Basically got herself in a lot of legal issues, and George Stein handled the case.
Yeah, they both got arrested.
They both got arrested.
Yeah, so.
She was going to get away, meaning she was going to be allowed to go home. But then she kept saying things she didn't need to say out loud, and the policeman warned her over and over again. And you got to listen to the policeman. She didn't. And got herself in a little trouble. Like, shut up! You don't know me. I put my mouth on whatever I want. That kind of thing.
So
I vote for Kerry.
anyway, that was the first time I was on the air, and it turned out to be extremely entertaining. And then we decided to make it a weekly thing.
We did, and we made it a weekly thing. And then you decided along the way that you wanted to start a show. And then George and I went in on the weekends for free out of love. And I helped George, and I helped produce, and I produced, and I produced. And we kept sending the tapes to the general manager, and all of a sudden he goes, I like it. Next thing you know, George got his show. Never talked to me.
Oh, you got big timed?
No.
Not at all. He had a guy that was coming in to do the show. There was like 3 attorneys, and they were covering basically any question you can imagine somebody wanting to ask an attorney. They whether it was personal injury, DUI, criminal. It was a very interesting show. And people, I mean, that's free lawyer questions. And if you called, they'd give you 10 minutes. I don't know what 10, 20 minutes cost, when you call up an attorney, but they were getting that for free. So I thought it was a fantastic show. Yeah, that was a lot of
Thanks,
free coin.
yes.
No, it was. I mean, because everybody wants to talk to an attorney. You're always like, what's the deal? How can you help me? What can you get me out of this? Can I do this? Can I do that? People find themselves in spots. Mine are more traffic tickets. I've gotten in some traffic situations. That's it. Like running red lights, yellow lights, I thought. Speeding. Look, I was just driving. Sorry. I accelerated. Alabama, I get popped on Christmas Day. Who gets a ticket on Christmas Day? The cop nailed me for like 5 miles over. I'm like, dick. And I called George, and George is like, the judge is a tough judge. Here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to go to classes. What is that class that you sent me to? Like 5 times?
Traffic school.
If I had $1 for every time I've been in traffic school. Here's what we do.
You failed traffic school
No,
4
I
times?
passed. No.
That's right.
That's all I'm thinking. Is how you failed 4 times.
I passed it in
He
flying colors.
just photocopied the first session and put a new date on it.
No, you know what they do in traffic court? They're like classes. They're like, we do Tuesday, Wednesday, and then your finals on Thursday. You're like, good God. Or you can do all day Saturday and half a day on Sunday. It's brutal.
I did it. I did it when I was 16.
For what was your deal?
I ran a red light on North Point Parkway 3 days after getting my license. I took a left turn on a red that I didn't see. It was one of the ones where, on North Point Parkway where it's like the pole goes up like this out of the median. The light up here is green, but the turn one's down here on the pole. I saw the green up there, went and took a left. The cop was behind me. And I was nervous as hell because the cop was behind me. I've been driving for 3 days. Right. Take the left, boom, just lights me up. There was nobody coming.
Couldn't you tell him you were just
nervous? I didn't see until halfway through that the light was down on the pole. I mean, because I was more so looking in my rear view at the cop behind me, like, why is there a cop following me? Why is there a cop following me?
You got scared.
Yeah, and I saw the light right there, and
Yeah, it happens. You know, sometimes even when people see the police officer behind them, they get fixated on their rearview mirror. We call it black and white fever, and they don't drive very well. And then they get an additional ticket because they're just looking in the mirror, not driving and looking forward and paying attention.
God, I had black and white fever one summer. I was having sex with everybody. I was like white, black,
No
white.
discrimination.
I was taking it all, Tyler. Just like a good liberal would.
Multicultural.
Like, how's it go? No, I never had that fever. But, you know, when you. Sorry. I can't even bullshit that one. Sorry. Cheers.
One day, Steve found a tick in his armpit.
Oh, my word.
God
a
love
fever.
George.
Got a fever.
Yellow spotted fever. I mean, you know. But, you know, whether you've had issues or not, now, I wanted to tell people, right now you're still practicing. You haven't retired due to your
No, I have
incredible
not.
success.
Yes.
So, because I know right now you're not on the radio with us, but that's a choice. You come in and out, and it was a very entertaining segment, highly rated. Just so
Yes,
you know.
I truly enjoyed it. But, you know, things are going well. We have, of course, on the civil side, you know, where we do the accidents and the motorcycle accidents with Steel Horse Law. We have offices, our flagship offices in Atlanta. We also have an office in Chattanooga. We have an office in Nashville. We have an office in Knoxville. And we have an office in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So we call, you know, bikers know no borders, so they are constantly crossing over state lines. And so, you know, we're Southeast regional prominent.
Which is great because, you know, like George and I both, we have ridden Harleys next to each other, bonded, two men riding down the road on their steel horses. What's up? And by the way, we play the Bon Jovi. On a steel horse I ride, wanted. Let me tell you, right when it says wanted, I accelerate just to be cool and make loud. My muffler's loud just so cars think I'm a douche. But no, we've ridden together. We've done rides. And, you know, George, back when you were in college, I think a motorcycle's all you owned, if I'm correct.
I had a bike for a while, and I had a Ducati in high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you still ride, or did a significant other make you sell all your stuff too?
Well, you know, I still have a motorcycle.
What's that like? Can you explain it to Southside?
That's right. However, you know, I know the statistics, and so I know that the safest time to ride a motorcycle is Sunday morning before people get out of church, because the road is the least crowded, and your chances of having an accident are greatly diminished. And so that's when I ride. And the very nice, gorgeous, beautiful gal that I live with endorses the idea.
So she gets on the back.
Well, not yet, no.
I didn't think so. Good try with that, George. Yes. Yeah, my wife never got on my motorcycle. My mother-in-law would have got on it, but not my mom or not my my girlfriend or my wife. What do I? I'm so.
Same thing.
I had girlfriends that loved to ride, and there's one thing you got when you dated me, you know. And if it was wintertime, I'm buying you ski gear if you didn't have it because I'm going snow skiing twice, so you get the ski gear. Or in the summer, you get the Harley gear, you know, because I'm riding. And I had girls that pushed me to ride. That there's days I didn't want to, but they did, you know. So there's some girls that just love it, and there's some that are terrified. And my wife's one of those people that are terrified. And I had a thank you.
Just giving you some background.
I had
reminisce.
I was listening to this song, and I'm driving down 75 South, going to a charity ride. You know why? Because I care. And I was doing charity. And then a couch flew off a truck. Coming right at me. I was with two other bikers. One went left, one went right. I held the road. And I ain't gonna kid you. Couch goes by on one side, the cushions came by and split me, and you know, they all spread out, and I got through it, and I was like, damn. I made a mistake of telling my wife about it. From then on, she pushed me to sell the bike. And that's what happens. You choose. You're like, you know, most people will have a motorcycle crash. You'd agree with that, George. It's like, if you haven't laid it down, it's coming. There'll be a point where there's some incident or close call.
Sure. It's not a matter of if, but rather when it happens.
It is. And when you ride, you have to have, you know, and I'll say the balls to ride. Anytime I got on my bike and I live downtown, I come out, you know, I'm riding around traffic, interstates or roads, and I'm getting on it, you know, and whizzing through traffic or whatever. If you are tense or you're tight about it or you worry about it, you're the guy that's going to have an accident.
You can't. You got to be fearless, or you shouldn't ride. That would be the message I would put. But with you, George, a lot of guys have that fearless attitude. And I know years ago we started it. You wanted to get into personal injury, leaving the DUI law, even though that is your specialty. My God, and it's a good thing you did because more people are taking Uber and Lyft, and they don't drink and drive like they used to. But it still happens.
True. I mean, listen, as a business owner or law firm owner, you always want to look 10 years into the future and think about what's going on and try to make those modifications early before, it's too late.
Well, you made the modification, and that, Brett, just so you know, it's like, okay, I want to start this personal injury, and we're going to deal with just specialized with motorcycle riders. And I was like, good God, okay. So George and I both rode, and, and I was privileged and lucky enough to be in the planning process of everything from the name to the logo, and then the first meetings when we met with people, and then we started, we got great employees like Danny Godfrey, for instance, and you had a partner at one point in time, and then that person left you. So you've been through it, but I got to tell you, the law team right now that is in place, and we've got a motorcycle show this weekend at the Cobb Galleria. If you want to come out, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll be out there Saturday from 11 to 3 with George. There's no better law team. There just isn't. You're going to see there's other law companies out there for motorcyclists, but nobody understands the law or has jumped into it. Congratulations being in 4 different states. But I got to tell you, man, the fearlessness of riding a motorcycle doesn't matter when somebody's not paying attention and they hit you. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's true.
Or pull out in front of you. There's almost nothing you can do,
yes.
regardless of how good of a rider you are.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain, statistics out there that show there are certain types that are maybe the most dangerous. Hate to sound like a chauvinistic pig, but they say a soccer mom in an SUV who's texting, putting her makeup on, and eating yogurt at the same time and yelling at the kids is pretty dangerous for bike riders.
Yeah, and that's what can happen. So stillhorselaw.com for all your personal injury needs. I will tell you, it's funny, my wife, and this is a true story, just 2 days ago, she's on a mom's group, and somebody said, does anybody know a good personal injury attorney? Mm-hmm. And so she wrote you down in the mom's group. Said, contact George Stein. Because you will handle all personal injury, correct?
Yeah, that's it. A lot of times, bikers predominantly, but their wife might get in an accident in the Jeep or in their sedan, and so we do it all.
Okay, and you handle traffic too. A lot of people don't realize they need an attorney for traffic. Brett made a U-turn illegally picking me up today at Regal Nissan, and I didn't say a thing. But had Brett been ticketed, he could use you if he needed it.
See, if you would have been like T-boned in the middle of the U-turn, then you could have sued him. No.
It's all right. I got good insurance. Circle 285.
You do? Way to go. Circle 285. Woo.com.
That's one of the big ones, right?
Yeah, baby. Let me tell you right now, they saved me. I was with a company called State F. I don't want to say the whole name. I don't want to do that because I think that's tacky.
Real subtle.
Let me see. What does that F stand for?
I'll tell you right now, they grow things is what they do. Farmers. I'm just going to leave it right there, babies. Some of you got pieces of rock. I don't know. You're like, hey, what's in? Is this a state or what? Whatever. I just don't want to say the names, but a lot of these companies, you just realize you've been with them for so long, and then you get it quoted. And, man, I got more insurance and saved $780 a month. So that's no joke. But that is a proud sponsor we have on this program. But for you, I've been dying to get you on the Yeah Come On show just because we're personal friends. I love you. I've been to your place in St. Martin 3 times. I
understand. Yes, I saw the after damage.
After damage?
I must hear about this.
What do you mean after damage?
I
paid for
okay, first off, was it just you?
No, it was him and Amanda and some other women before that.
There were other women I took before Amanda. Amanda and I went, and I took my in-laws. That was smart. You talk about being in. I'm like, hello. Here's $1 million villa. Actually, it's like $4 million. George has worked hard for it. He's on a payment.
Call him out.
No. George is paying for it. He's on a 60-year payment plan. Good news is he knew somebody got it for 2% interest.
Sorry, kids, less caviar now.
But here's the deal. You mess up, George gets you out of it. You pay George. George pays off his place in St. Martin. That's how it works. But no, this place is beautiful. And you take a girl there, Brett. Oh, my God. You come up the driveway, and you're there, and there's this huge home, and then there's the pool, and then there's the bridge over it, and then there's, like, George's little area where he stays, but he'll let you stay there. And that's the room. It's George's technically bedroom, but I got to stay in it, and he said there was damage, blacklight damage.
Yeah, well, I ran a blacklight over the bedspread and got a big hit.
And he knew it was me. And I'm like, look.
He knows your spray pattern.
I told George, whatever.
It's like a CSI guy in there.
I told George back then I was not trying to get anybody pregnant. I did whatever I had to do not to get somebody pregnant. I don't care.
Destroy his sheets?
Let's see. Sheets, baby.
These are Egyptian cotton linens.
Oh, yeah. Thread count's like 4,000. It's so thin and feels so good. If you yank on it, it rips. It's the greatest thread count I've ever slept on. I'm like, George, I called him up one night. It's like sleeping on a cloud. So brilliant. No, but that is a cool thing. I mean, of all places, and George is also, he's on the French side, not the Dutch side. They're douches over there. We like the French, don't we?
Yeah. Steve liked the master bedroom because it's disconnected from the house. And there's a bridge going over the pool that leads to a separate dwelling. That's the master bedroom.
And it's so fat, man. You get in there and you're just
Is that a pH fat?
Yeah! I don't give a damn.
Showing your age. I'm still hip with it.
Oh, I'll
hip
make
to the hop.
All right, I'll make it even worse. Really, it's groovy. How's that for age? Brady bunched your ass. But no,
who?
Brady Bunch. It's
I
a
only know
bunch of
Brady
kids
Quinn.
that lived together that didn't have complete parent sets, and they came together with a housekeeper, and then everything was great.
I'm the generation of Brady Quinn. The quarterback with the most bench press reps at the combine.
No.
That's my lifestyle.
Cool. Well, you.
I've given up on the gym.
I'm about to say, where's your membership? Damn it, Brett. No, but
I pay, don't go.
when you sleep in this other house, you can let the scream in. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like we can say or do whatever you want. Nobody can hear it. And the rest of the house, you're in the main house, which are very nice. They all have these bedrooms and everything. And then there's one room set up for kids where it's a bunk bed. And there's you can put like 6 kids in there. George is Jewish. He's got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of kids. You know why? Because they got the money to put them in private school.
And once you meet a real mensch.
I just kid. I love you, George. No,
Thanks.
So
Thanks. I was just there at Christmas time.
were you?
I've just got back from there. Yeah, same.
I heard you got a new girlfriend or a girlfriend.
Yeah, for the last 2 years. Yeah.
No, it hasn't been 2 years. Has it been that long?
Almost, yes.
All right.
Yes, so.
Because I keep running into your exes.
But it's nice to go out there at Christmas time. It's always nice, and so
That's
it's
good.
a good thing. So
Yes,
So-
you take care of yourself. It is high time the Rickmans revisited St. Martin.
That's right, so-
I mean, I don't know who you're sending out there.
I was going to ask you, Steve, what did the Jewish Santa say to the children?
What did a Jewish? First off, I didn't know there was a Jewish Santa, but I like it. What did he
His name's
say?
Janta.
Are you going?
Keep going. I'm ready.
He said, "Hey kids, want to buy some toys?"
Damn. All right, for all you Jewish people, God bless you. You do have the money thing down. I'm not going to kid you. Us Christians, God bless us for just being a mess. I don't know. I get a Christmas tree. You get a what's the
Hanukkah bush.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's your parents' fault, actually. You didn't have a choice. Is this girl you're dating Jewish?
No, she's not.
Methodist? Or she looks like she got large breasts. She's Southern Baptist, isn't she?
No, she's not. She's from Utah.
Utah.
Mormon.
Mormon.
Yeah.
Mormon. You know what that says, George? Lots of kids. Or
Lots of women.
that too.
Yeah, get that polygamy going.
That's it. George, thank you. I mean, here we are tearing down a man that is in the top 12. If you missed that on the fabulous intro, top 12 attorneys when it comes to DUI law in the nation. Top 12.
In North America.
In North America, actually. Top 12. And the book you wrote, and you've told me the story, but I want Brett and our listeners and viewers to hear it on the Yeah Come On show. You woke up for how many years early to write it? How did all that work? How did you put a book out and practice law at the same time?
Yeah, it was hard, and it took 5 years to finish it. And I woke up around 4 o'clock and would write for a couple hours, and then jump in the shower and run to court. So it took a long time because when you have about 1,200 pages, it's not just something you whip out. And then there's changes in the law along the way, and you have to re-edit it and reread it and go through 2 or 3 edits and do a lot to get it published and then get it going. So, but that happened
When you published that, what year did it publish?
2003.
Okay.
And so there's yearly updates to it. Every single year we submit an update to it.
You do the updates?
We do the
Is it like an insert for if I have the original book?
It's an insert, yes, it is. So we're thinking about doing the second edition next year. So it's a whole new book.
George.
Yes.
I mean, Brett, who did the research on you, which is fabulous. I've seen the book. Is it or is it not thicker than War and Peace?
It is, and it's hardbound. So
Dang. And judges use this book.
they do, yeah. It's a resource for lawyers and judges. So a lot of lawyers, it's kind of odd sometimes when I go to court and the judge says, "Well, what's the law on this? Give me some Georgia case law on it." And it's kind of awkward sometimes when I have to cite my own book to the judge.
Oh, wow. You gotta love it.
Stein
Trump
says-
card.
Right, but he says, "According to who, Mr. Stein?"
And that's right. And then you look at the guy that, got, popped for DUI after running over a brick mailbox and hitting somebody's house and wrecking, some kid's tricycle in the driveway. And he's like, yeah, get it out of it.
Yeah, I like when the judges get a DUI, then they call me. And
That's great. There was a case, and I mentioned you on the radio actually this week, and I forget what it was.
Chandler Parsons?
Was it just
The
came
Hawks
up?
player that got
Yes, that was
the
it. Thank
DUI?
you.
Yeah, that's
Good,
crazy.
Good job, Brett.
Yeah, I read the news a lot.
Brett, yeah, all right. Well, I forget things, but I know when I know it, and then I forget it. But George, I mentioned you on the radio. I don't know if it got back to you, like from thousands of people that heard it. No.
I think
Okay.
so. Tell me more about it.
Okay, so I said I think this is even a case George Stein would turn down. Go ahead and tell what happened, Brett. It's crazy.
I don't really understand totally. I guess he was driving through Buckhead after practice, and it was like some sort of 3-car crash where Chandler Parsons, who's playing for the Hawks, I think he's making like 25 or 28 million this year, and he got hit off the road in, I think it was like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, and hit a light pole. And now he's suffered such severe brain trauma and injury that they're saying it could end his entire career, professional basketball career. And he's played for 9 years, and so he's kind of in that you're going to make a lot of money right now moment. So
And he was hit. He was hit by a drunk driver.
A drunk driver.
Okay, so
hit him.
The drunk driver hit him.
Yeah, unfortunately for a guy like that, the limit of insurance that everybody in Georgia has to have is $25,000.
That's the minimum.
And so that's
Yeah.
the minimum. And of course, it's not very smart just to have the minimum, but a lot of people that have a limited budget go for the minimum because that's what's legally required. However, you should always have at least 300 or 500 or $1 million or something because, you have to picture this poor basketball player, or should I say unfortunate basketball player because he's not a poor guy. If he got hit by somebody else and it's their fault, then normally you sue their insurance company, and if he only has $25K coverage, that happened the first 10 minutes in the ER.
Yeah.
And then they're out of money, and then the only thing you can do is sue them. And if they're in a 1979 Grand Prix,
Which is actually collectible. You need to use a different card. That's actually valuable.
and they have no assets, then you can go sue them and win a $3 or $5 or $10 million judgment, but then you can go and frame it
All
and
right,
put it
say-
on your wall because you're not going to collect on it.
All right, like you're in a 2007 Prius. I'll say that.
Yes.
But no, you're right. So the individual that hit this basketball player was drinking. He was in a situation, George, where he had a drink in the car. So he's intoxicated. He's got a 7-Up bottle. He's drinking while driving. And
It's in the middle of the day, too.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
what's crazy.
in the middle of the day. And then after telling the police it was his fault, which I'll give him that. He admitted to it. He passes out because he's drank so much. At the scene of the crime, he passes out.
Yeah.
That's where I said, I don't even think George Stein would take that case.
Well, that'd be a difficult case to defend. Listen, you have to be realistic, Steve. When you take these sorts of cases, you can't win every single one. So, a lot of them can be won. But if you have an ultra difficult case like this with, multitude of facts that go completely against you in every which way I look, there's no real defense. Then
Yeah, you totaled a Bentley and ended a career possibly.
So sometimes you have to look at it this way. Sometimes you can measure winning by how little you lose. So, if you're facing 2 or 3 years in jail and you end up getting probation and a permit to drive, or you just have to do a weekend in jail, it's certainly better than going to state prison for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Remember that, Brett.
So Chandler Parsons' net worth is $50 million, but right now he's on a $94 million contract.
Good guy.
right, so a guy like that also has professional athlete insurance that has contingencies like this.
Oh, yeah.
And he also has life insurance too, so he might be collecting from his own insurance policy where the other guy is left off.
That's a shame.
Sure.
That is a shame.
And then there's another thing that most people don't understand, just worth briefly touching. Never should you, put you or your family's future on being, optimistic about some person that's going to hit you having a lot of insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. Always assume they have little or no insurance. The majority of people have 25K coverage, which evaporates the first few
The
hours.
guy that hit me
Right.
at 25, and you're right.
So that's why there's this other coverage called coverage, which is your own insurance company, which stands for uninsured motorists or underinsured motorists. And you should always ramp that way up to at least 100 or 300 or 500,000 in case some clown hits you and they're broke and have very little coverage. Then you can tap your own coverage. And hear me out on that, because a lot of people go, oh, well, I don't want to do that, George, because that'll raise my rates if I tap on my own And in fact, the law in Georgia says they can't raise your rates 1 penny if you use your It's intended for a rainy day, and if that rainy day comes, you got to use it, and they can't raise your rates.
Circle285.com. This message brought to you by George Stein, an attorney that cares. He does care.
I do.
That's the thing about George. When you know George, you're like, to know you is to love you. So, dear friend, George is in my. You got to look at the guy. Anybody you put in your wedding has got to be in your top 5 or 6. You know what I mean?
Right.
So George is kind of like
On MySpace?
No, we weren't. We were MySpace
Tyler got
friends,
that one.
or whatever.
It's in my top 8 friends.
I'm his one-man audience over here.
First off, I remember having my top 8. George was in top 8. I'm all about MySpace. I remember it. MySpace was genius. Never before was there a site that you could go on and hear my favorite song the second you clicked on it. Bring it back. I'm not happy with Facebook.
Yeah, you don't get a song on your Facebook. Yeah.
I need a song. I need background. If I want a leopard background for the day, I want it. Give me back my MySpace. I'll take it. Mm-hmm. But with George too, it's not just being an attorney. It's not just being a a wealthy man around town. No, I love messing
Hey, I
with
was friends with your dad, too.
Yes, I was getting ready to get to that.
Yes.
Dear friends with my father, and I will tell you a story about George. And my father told me near the deathbed, and I don't think he would have told me unless he knew he was passing. But he goes, "There's something George did for me." And my father was, had huge medical bills. But there was a situation where George actually went in and paid off some medical bills for my father. And my father told me that, and I never knew. You didn't tell me, and my father told me near death, and I was blown away by that. That was just and I bet you've done those kind of things for other people too. It's just
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I always talk about that coverage, and you ought to have it. But sometimes there's a shortfall, and when there's a case, and when it's not the person's fault, and they get strapped with medical bills. And so I was close to Steve's dad, and so rather than see him getting unjustly strapped with medical bills and having nasty letters going out and collectors and liens on the house and all that sort of stuff, I just helped him out and paid
that
it
was
off. So.
solid. I wish you'd come to me going, Steve, I couldn't help but notice your furniture's dated. Would you like new furniture?
Yeah, why stop there?
You're welcome to go over to his house after the show. I'm not.
Come back when the kids are 10 years old. No.
True. Brett, you have 2 more months, 1 more month.
A month and a
then I'll
half.
change. George Stein's been in my house. He doesn't do anything stupid. But also, what I wanted to get into that Brett's not aware, and Brett did some research on you. He thought it was really cool that we were having you on. George Stein, the DUI lawyer, also Still Horse Law. That is for personal injury, especially for motorcycle riders. If you're a motorcycle rider and you're involved in any accident, go to stillhorselaw.com. Ask for George Stein by name, and you won't believe it, but you need to contact an attorney. minutes after an accident, because Still Horse Law will actually show up. They have a wrecker service that will even take and tow off your bike to a safe place. And they'll do that the second you contact them, and they start working for you immediately. Just things you may or may not know. But judo is what I want to get into.
Yes.
One thing that was not mentioned in here, you talk about George being ranked, and it's true. Top 12 attorneys in North America, and how many other countries or little continents or whatever?
At least like 24 or Baker's dozen.
Thank you.
I don't know. A lot.
Thank you. George is in the top 12 of all DUI attorneys, but he's also ranked as a judo man. A judo, what is it? It's not karate. It's judo guy.
Yeah, it's a separate sport. Matter of fact, I started when I was 6 years old, and judo's an Olympic sport. It's in the Olympics. And
See, George knew he was Jewish and intellectual, had to be able to fight. Think about it.
That's right. So it's always nice to choke out a prosecutor if he's being mean to you.
Have you ever judo chopped somebody? Do you say judo or Judy when you make the move?
Judo.
Judy chop.
And if you practice judo, you're a judoka.
Now on the Yeah Come On show, Judo George.
Wait, Russian?
I don't know. You know everything I do is either Scottish or Russian.
It's the Mother Show.
That's the music for it.
I need some good music. All right, tell us how you're ranked, your career when it comes to judo.
Well, listen, I've been fighting ever since I was a kid, and growing up, and when you get older, they have something called the Masters Division. It's every 5 years in age. Plus,
They have that in golf.
Plus weight division. So,
Sorry to mention that.
so
Like fox catcher.
yeah. So nationally, I've been ranked previously number one in the United States for several years for my weight division. It was 81 kilos, which is 178 pounds and under.
Thank you for telling me that.
I'm not as big as you, Steve, anyway.
178, though, bro.
Yeah.
Brett, you were 178.
Yeah, when I was fifth grade.
Yes. And so, and I fought in a lot of international tournaments as well and did well. And probably the best I ever did was I got the bronze medal in the World Championship. So I was top 3 that year in the world. So
Boomsy.
yeah. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Damn. Bronze medal. Is it real bronze?
It is, yes.
Can you say, what do you think it's worth?
I don't know.
I don't think he's in a tight spot. I don't think he needs it.
I know.
It's bronze. It's like a big penny, Steve.
But for anybody,
It costs more than a medal to make the medal.
Yeah, I think
it's one of those.
copper is more than
It's
bronze.
better than tin, though. No.
it's a big penny. That's awesome. But you earned a big penny.
I did, yes.
Dang it, that's not bad.
I had to fight some mean guys to get there, too. Some
What are their names?
Koreans and a couple Japanese
Cobra
guys.
Kai.
Sweep the leg.
Well, I bet they're like, I'm not letting the white guy beat me.
Yeah.
And then George
Yeah.
comes in and gets it done.
Yeah, some
round
of
eye.
these guys look pretty ominous and are previously Olympians who were great. But a lot of the people in judo, from the mat work and crawling around the mat, they have those cauliflower ears, and their ears are all melted up. And
How come your ears are so good?
Because I always cover them up.
Do you wear ear covers?
No, I don't. I'm fortunate. Some
Okay.
people it doesn't happen to, and some people just have those hideously melted ears. Usually the Japanese or the Koreans, and they look pretty mean when you fight them, and they got their ears are dripping down the side of their neck.
Brett's ex-girlfriend had ears like that. It's a shame.
Do you wear sports goggles?
No, you don't.
Oh, that would be awesome if you get your ass kicked by some guy in sports goggles.
No protection at all? You don't wear anything? A cod piece?
No, you don't. And there's
What is he in a band? I
don't know.
70s metal band?
So-
Nobody's chopping the boys.
So there's about 4 different ways you can win. You can throw somebody really hard on their back with a recognized throw with great force. That's a full point. It's called an ippon. That's
An ippon.
and that means you just win because if it's a hard, really forceful throw, or you can choke somebody until they tap out or pass out, and that's a full point win. That's an ippon.
Is that a choke with the hand or with the arm?
It's many different techniques for
So
choking.
you literally choke each other out to the point that somebody hits the mat or something,
Right.
like I'm out, I can't breathe.
If they tap twice, you let go. If they don't, then it's over when they pass out.
Which
So-
would you take? Would you go pass out or tap out? How
Well,
much pride do you
a
have?
lot of the best fighters in the world won't tap.
Yeah.
they'll just go.
They'll wait till they're gone.
Until they're
Dude, we got to play that game on the Yeah Come On show, pass out or tap out.
right. There you go.
We'll have George come in. We'll see you and I, see if we're willing to tap out or pass out. Let George choke us out.
Yes, I'd love to.
We both know which one I'm going to take. I'm passing out.
Yeah, does it feel good? Because it's kind of like when you're being put under.
When you
Autoerotic.
when you wake up from being
Erotic. I wake up, we both got.
well, no,
George, we got hard on.
yeah, no, you don't
I'm
wake
tapping
up.
something.
What happened?
No, you don't wake up with a boner, but
Okay, thank God.
when you wake up,
It's not good.
it's not like a morning wake up. It's when you wake up from passing out, you actually feel great, like you had the most refreshing 10-hour sleep you've ever had in your life, and you
Sign
feel
me
really
up.
good.
Dude, I just go in there to lose. What are you here to do? I'm here to get choked.
I didn't get a good sleep last night, so I need to be put down.
So, and then there's another way you can win too, with an arm bar until they tap out or the arm breaks.
Yeah, we're not doing that one.
So
No, dude. Now nobody lets the arm break, right? You tap out.
most people don't, but sometimes they mistime it,
Yeah,
and it snaps.
Right.
That
They don't know their
sucks.
threshold. They think they know their threshold.
No, my threshold. Because once you're in an arm bar, you're really not going to get out of it.
Usually not. You have to be highly skilled to get out of it.
See, and that's the thing. These guys think they got a shot of getting out, and they
Right.
don't tap, and
Right.
then
Pop.
Pride.
Snap.
Yeah, it's pride.
they walk off. Yo, man, I'll see you next time.
Right.
I'll get you back.
Numbchucked you. You don't even realize.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ronda Rousey was really good at that. She was a Olympian judo medalist,
Oh, really?
and she got a bronze medal in judo in the Olympics in China.
She got a big penny.
China. Yeah, she got a big penny,
Just like you, she got a penny.
and then she went on to make millions, with MMA and snapping elbows.
Until
Wow.
she got her face caved in by Holly
Yeah.
Holmes.
And then she
Ooh.
met her.
That was a beating.
Yeah.
Ah, dang. Right. Ouch. But that's awesome. So right now you're doing like your location. I've been to your new office, and that's off of it's off Piedmont Road, or where is it?
It's right off of West Paces Ferry
West
Road,
Paces Ferry.
about 30 seconds away from the OK Cafe, right behind Houston's restaurant.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're over there by that big church.
Yeah, right behind the church. There's an office park.
That's the biggest church. Can you imagine being the reverend or priest of that church?
Yeah, Creflo Dollar.
Is that
Flying
who it
around
is?
in my G6. No, I don't know. I think he's up in Gwinnett.
Dude, it's the biggest church I mean, it's a monster of a church. I'm like, good Lord. You know when they pass out the collection plate, it's like, don't anybody think about putting less than 100. 100 is the minimum. And then you're embarrassed when you only put one C note. You're like, I'm sorry, it's been tough this week. Good God. We got to pay for this church. Look at the ceiling. It's 70 feet tall.
They see the show walking up. It's like, Brett, nope, you can't come in. Southside, come on.
Sounds
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
come on
come
in.
on.
You come on in. One thing that I want to do with you real quick too, George, if we haven't been shameless enough, we have what we call the cigarette break. And this is the time that would take to smoke a cigarette. We can't smoke in our studio. We haven't been allowed to yet. But is there anything you want to promote? Because we have two events going on right now currently that I work with you. A lot of people don't realize, but I am one of the faces of Steel Horse Law, and I am your beer face too.
Yeah, as you know, Steve, this weekend, the Great American Motorcycle Show is a huge motorcycle 2-day show, Saturday and Sunday at the Cobb Galleria. There's going to be lots of interesting vendors there, beautiful motorcycles, Harleys, Triumphs, Hondas, you name it. They're all there. And the best of the best and the latest models are there. And so it's a great show. And we asked everybody to come out. And, of course, you'll be there, Southside Steve, on Saturday from 11 to 2, I think.
I think that is my time frame, and I will be there. Are you going to be there with me or am I on my own?
I will. I'll be there with you.
Thank you.
Yes, along with my partner, Brian Karen.
All right, good. Brian Karen, we love you, Brian. If we haven't mentioned you, I apologize. Brian Karen's that guy that he came to me, hey, you're in radio. My son's playing baseball. Do you mind doing the intros for all the kids? And I'm like, sure, I don't mind. What, are you taping them? He goes, yeah, we're going to tape them. So you just say their name and like how they're switch hitters or whatever the hell I was supposed to say about these kids. And it was my pleasure to do it, Brian. But he comes in here and he goes, well, and then this coach wants you to do it. There were like 92 kids. I had to get their voices. Get their name. And some of them had nicknames. The Spider Johnson, first base. I'm like, good God. He goes, you didn't say it right. It's called Spider. So he was coaching me. This is George's law partner. And I'm like, okay. I called up George. I go, George, look, I'm all about the favors, but damn. No, I'm kidding. But no, Brian is good people. Again, these are personal friends. I can take jabs. And I hope that you believe the words I'm saying because my reputation probably means more to me than anything. I do not associate with anybody on an endorsement. And I'll say the same thing about Brett. It's one reason why I grabbed Brett Barney. He is a man of quality. can't handle his liquor. He'll cut your kid and cuss in front of him. But
Sometimes kids need to be cut.
you do what you do, son. But no, he's a quality person. And when I endorse somebody, it's because I firmly believe that they are the best at what they do. And there's nobody better when it comes to attorneys. And I'm not just saying that. I've seen how your law office works. I've seen the comings and goings of people. He's hired, you even hired one of my ex-girlfriends one time, and she did a good job for you till we had to cut her. But no, what I'm saying is George.
Steve called me. He said, "Ditch her now."
Ditch her, dude. I don't care if she took her paralegal quiz. Get
Thank
her out.
God for right to work.
Yeah. But no, as far as a law firm, definitely if you're involved in a personal injury situation on a motorcycle, Steel Horse Law, 100%. And we'll see out. Hopefully, you come out to the Great American Motorcycle Show. Again, that's going to be this weekend at the Cobb Galleria. And then next weekend, we do a lot of stuff in the 4th Ward, and we do a lot of stuff at Atlantic Station. And we work with a great beer festival guy that handles and does most of the beer festivals. I know Mike, and I can't think of Mike's last name because it's a tough name to say.
Yeah, it's a big old long Italian name. He's got several syllables, so we just say Mike.
We just call him Mike, but
I
Mike.
was going to guess Hunt.
No, dude, it's way hard. That's funny.
Thank you.
I'll
You
give
caught that one.
I caught it. I got you. But no, Mike is doing the Winter Beer Fest, and for those of you that don't know it, that will be at Atlantic Station the last weekend of this month. We'll be there on the 29th, and George Stein sponsors both. So he's at the American Motorcycle Show as Steel Horse Law, but then the DUI law. So everybody walking around, when you go in, you get a wristband. It says George Stein, DUI lawyer, with George's phone number on it. Can you imagine leaving the Winter Beer Fest, getting a DUI, and then basically calling your attorney off your wrist? That's fantastic.
That's right. You just show the officer your wristband. And
Don't talk. Call him, sir. Not talking. I know you got cameras rolling. Not talking. Call George. George will take the call. He'll be with his hot girlfriend going, "1 second, baby. Put your clothes back on. Huh? Now look. What's your name? Oh, you got drunk at the beer fest? Hold on 1 second. I'm drinking myself. Okay, we got you. No problem. First off, don't talk to him. Wait, what's the officer's name? Oh, is that Fred? Put Fred on. Officer Fred, what are you doing? Come on. Can we work something out? Okay, we'll see you in court. It's all right. I love you, Fred. No, I'm teasing. This is all fictitious.
It's actually about right.
Okay, good.
Not too
I didn't want to
far
think I
off.
was far from it. But yeah, so we look forward to seeing you at both of those events. Is there anything that you'd like to ask George that you haven't, Brett Barney? I know you always have these fabulous things you like to do. Brett can be a little rough. I dig him. He doesn't care.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Shoot.
Based off of what I know about lawyers, if you had to describe the kind of person you are based off of one of these films about a lawyer that I've watched, are you more of a Lincoln lawyer, My Cousin Vinny, Aaron Brockovich, or Liar Liar?
I would say Lincoln lawyer.
Really?
That's badass. That's the one you want to be.
Yeah.
I was
Matthew
getting
McConaughey, baby.
I was getting Aaron Brockovich, but from what you're saying, him getting driven around all the time and his son at GameStop, I see Lincoln lawyer now.
Yeah, I don't want to be the My Cousin Vinny stutterer. So.
Youths. If I were to try to beat a breathalyzer, which one of these is the best to keep in my car at all times? A handful of pennies or your bronze medal, a charcoal tablet, an onion, coffee, or mouthwash?
Just refuse. None
Just
of those.
refuse?
Just
Really?
refuse. None of those.
Oh, so define that. So you always refuse?
Well, listen, breath testing technology, it's called infrared spectrography, and it's not very accurate. It just does a mathematical guesstimation of what your BAC is, your blood alcohol content. And, it's a big mathematical formula, and the machine doesn't always get it right, and it's looking for one particular thing. It's looking for the molecule called ethanol. That's alcohol, okay? And the problem is the body produces other similar molecular structures that are confused with ethanol, and they add it to the breath machines often will add it to the net result and give you a higher BAC result than you really deserve.
See, that makes sense. I know in my body, I'll be honest, I don't know about your body, Brett, but I can only assume there's confusion going on, and I don't need my molecules acting like an alcohol molecule, and the next thing you know, my little, what is it, GPA or whatever? No, that's great.
BAC.
BAC,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Goes up.
Well,
I don't mind my GPA going up,
Right,
but
right.
I don't want my...
That's not happening.
Well, as his BAC went up, his GPA always went down.
That's the rule of thumb. Yeah.
There you go.
So you can't suck on the charcoal tablets or eat an onion or suck on pennies? That doesn't work.
No.
Everybody always thought penny. That's true.
Well, pennies don't work, and it's kind of embarrassing when when you have to spit them out. So that doesn't work. And who in the heck keeps charcoal?
But if you had it, would it work?
No, it wouldn't, because there's something called deep alveolar air. It's the deepest portions of your lungs, and you have to blow hard enough to get that deep lung air to come up, and something sitting on your tongue isn't gonna purify.
But if I blow real hard, when they tell me to blow, and I give it the hardest blow I can, does that help me?
No, that hurts you, because the harder you blow, the higher the BAC goes. So you want to just blow a minimal one if you're going to blow at all. But if you question it at all, I mean, listen, if you and your wife are coming out of a Alpharetta restaurant, and
or Brett and whatever tramp he's with.
Yeah, right. So then you're going to yourself, well, let me see, I might not pass this. Then it's just best to respectfully decline.
But don't they make you blood tests now? They'll be like, yeah, we'll take you back to the station, get a subpoena.
Well, if they get a warrant,
or warrant,
they could force you to take a blood test.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they could.
Oof.
So
is that common, though?
Well, listen, I don't know if I would always want to advise people to do this, but you ever give a voluntary blood test when you're getting a physical checkup or in a hospital, and you have that nurse or that gal called a phlebotomist miss your vein 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the police get a warrant and say, you better do this or we'll hold you down, if you can minimally flex your arm a 1/4 of an inch, they can't take blood from you.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
That just made everything worth it for me.
Yeah. So
I've learned
what I'm trying to
much.
say is sometimes you can even beat a warrant, but you will be charged with obstruction.
Okay. Damn it.
So.
All right, you did a lot of radio giving people free advice on, well, pretty much injury, DUI, whatever. You've done regular guys. You had your own show. What is the absolute dumbest question somebody asked you? I know that one probably sticks out.
Well, that was from a client.
God, he knew.
Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah,
good
right on the
job.
spot.
Good job.
That was from a client, and it was about 15 years ago, and I had just finished teaching a field sobriety testing seminar, when the eye test, a walk a straight line test, and touch your nose and say your ABCs and all that. And I was teaching other lawyers how to, defeat field sobriety tests when you go to trial. And we had some press from it, and the local news was there, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about a case that I had just won using the techniques that I was teaching on field sobriety testing. And then that evening, I had a client call me. He said he saw me on TV. He heard I had a case dismissed, and wanted to know if it was his case. And I said, were you in court yesterday? He goes, no. I go, well, then it wasn't your case. No.
Dumb. You're so stupid. If you're watching, you're so stupid.
Is mad, or sad about rideshare services?
Well, mad is, mothers against drunk drivers, and sad is students against drunk drivers.
'Cause I
And
feel like they would love rideshare services. And when I was a kid in high school, that was a big thing. But I feel like it's not really a part of society anymore.
yeah.
Because I have to feel like DUIs have gone down significantly since rideshares have been invented.
Yeah,
And they're half the price of taxis.
Believe me,
If
there's
not more.
plenty of foolish people out there. Uber does save the day, and it keeps you from getting arrested. But, I had somebody just last week come to my office and say, well, Mr. Stein, I took Uber, but then I just wanted to move my car over a couple spaces to a better parking space, and then I got a DUI. I mean, so, people still make foolish decisions. These organizations they promote ride sharing. And there's some that are better. I mean, Uber's really good, and Lyft is really good because they come really quick. And those free rideshare ones that they have at bars, a lot of times you have to wait 2 or 3 hours, and people say, screw it, I'm just going to drive home now because they get tired of waiting. But they do promote those things. But, there's a certain amount of hypocrisy and mad and sad and all that's relevant out there in this world. A year or two ago, the president of MAD got arrested for DUI. So
That's embarrassing.
yeah, that's a little, and of course, I'm sure they hired a lawyer and tried to get out of it. So it's a
Please, God.
bit of a hypocrisy. And then also those phony statistics that MAD comes out with, that make it sound like, oh my gosh, every time there's an accident, it's because of drinking, when in fact, one of the little sneaky things they did is they ramped up their statistics by putting in there not just drunk driving, but they put in there when somebody's had any amount of alcohol, even just a quarter of a drink.
Wow.
So they
or
get
half
like
a drink.
a .01.
Oh, one. Oh, well, there's an accident, and they call it alcohol related.
Oh.
So it tripled up their statistics, and that's what they put out there, and the public doesn't know the difference.
I was curious about this with Uber drivers. So about a year ago, I went to one of my buddies' Christmas parties, and I was dressed as Santa. My Santa costume is pretty legit. People have seen it before.
Who
I
who goes to a Christmas party dressed as Santa?
Okay, just
There's usually a Santa at the Christmas party, and then you show up. Now there's two.
yeah.
And you spend a fortune on yours. So you make the other Santa that's paid to be there look bad.
I actually just cucked the Santa. You know,
did.
Take that, buddy. I beat you here.
I'm just saying you're supposed to wear like festive clothing, but not a Santa suit. But go ahead.
Well, I went full on Santa. All right. So at the
Okay.
end of the night, I decided to call an Uber up. I'm with my lady friend, Germany, that we're riding home.
This is
my
a girl
ex.
he dated
Yeah.
for a while. He took her to Germany.
And then we broke up right after.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Is she a Nazi? No.
See, George,
He's about to walk out of here.
George, we don't know.
Look, it was Oktoberfest. I want to go drink beer, all right, and walk home. So I get in an Uber and
This is all humor, people. Yeah, come on, show. We're all here to laugh at.
so I get in my Uber. I'm pretty 3 sheets to the wind. I'm Southside Steve's house drunk, and
That's the term now. When you're really, really drunk, he compares it to being drunk at my house. George, there was an incident.
yeah,
I'll
we've
say
discussed it
quickly.
like 5 times.
No,
all right?
but for
No,
George
let's move
doesn't
forward. Let's move
know.
forward.
He's at my house.
Yes,
and,
we heard it at the beginning.
and he pulls out a knife.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's talking about cutting
it's
my,
long.
my
You can go
son's
back and
friend.
listen to the old episode.
And he says F-bombs. It
Yeah.
was a bad
yeah,
night.
so be it. That's beside the point. I'm Southside Steve's house drunk. That's a mouthful.
There you go.
That's what she said. I get in the Uber. I'm riding home. I still got a few beers left in my cooler, so I crack one of them bad boys open. I'm sipping on a beer. We turn a corner. Boom. Roadblock.
Oh.
So we roll up, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and the guy like rolls down his window, just goes, "I'm an Uber." Cop leans in, looks at me, and I look at the cop, and I just go, "And I'm Santa." And I have my beer hidden in my coat. And she goes, "Cool, roll on." But here's my thing. The car definitely smelled like alcohol because of me.
Yes.
But because he was just like, "I'm an Uber," they were like, "Whatever." He didn't have to show ID or anything.
Yeah.
So what are the odds that the Uber driver could be intoxicated as well?
Very, very low. But
That's a stretch.
yes. But I had that happen once to me.
You had a drunk Uber driver.
I did. I was in
Good God.
I was in Buckhead at the Westin Hotel teaching a 2-day DUI defense seminar to 150 lawyers. And one of my invited speakers was from Pennsylvania. His name was Justin McShane. And we both got in
Justin McShane. You remember my name.
nice Jewish boy. Anyway,
McShaney.
anyway, we jumped in an Uber to go to some, Del Frisco Steakhouse, a couple of blocks away and all that.
That's uppity, by the way. Expensive.
And
You go, George.
and the Uber driver, how they have their ID and all that. But the Uber driver wasn't the real Uber driver. He didn't feel good that night, so he had his cousin fill in for him.
Ooh.
Damn.
And he was drunk. He crossed a couple lane lines, and we made him stop and get out and yelled at him and gave him 1 star. So.
Look! I'm a DUI attorney, and I wouldn't defend you. Can you pull over and get me that F out of you? Damn.
Well, I'm just thinking like the leeway.
And I'm 1 star in your ass, imitator.
The leeway the Uber driver had by just rolling up to a checkpoint and being like, "I'm an Uber driver," and looking
Yeah.
back and seeing Santa in the back seat, drunk Santa, being
Yeah.
like, "Cool, roll."
Well, I think they were more fixated on you, so.
Yeah, that's true. I was yelling, "I'm Santa," and then she was yelling at me like, "Don't do that. You're drinking."
You could have gotten a ticket for open container if they saw
it was hidden, and I
I
had
know.
a
Well, it was
full
hidden,
Santa suit.
hidden in your beard.
Yeah, no, it's in my belly.
A lot of things go in there.
Which Stein is the bigger Stein, George Stein or Ben Stein?
Oh, Ben Stein. You know who Ben Stein
Oh, I know
is?
what Ben Stein
Win,
is.
win
yeah.
Ben
Win Ben
Stein's
Stein's
money.
money. Come on.
I know. I knew Jimmy Kimmel when he was actually working with Ben Stein on that. Ben Stein actually, if you remember this, George, in '98 when we went to the Super Bowl, the Falcons versus the Broncos, Ben Stein was down there, and Larry and Eric with the regular guys were friends with him. They knew him. Ben Stein took us all out to dinner, and I kept looking at him going, "Good God, I'm sitting next to Ben Stein," and he really talks the way he talked in Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever it is.
remember, he's got that show,
Bueller.
all of Ben Stein's money.
Yeah, and he did the Ben Stein's money, and Jimmy Kimmel was hanging out with us.
Didn't he do American Express too? for a while, or what, some credit card was like,
I don't know.
I'm Ben Stein, get American Express. I don't know.
He might have, but that was so fun because it was like Adam Carolla, Jimmy Kimmel, Ben Stein, and I'm just sitting there hanging out with these dudes for like 9 days. But I don't know where Ben Stein is now compared to George Stein.
Well, hey, listen, I think he's bigger than me. I actually have a cousin named Ben Stein, but it's a different Ben Stein.
That's pretty
I was
awesome.
kind of hoping.
Hey, that would that not have just blown us all away?
That would have just ended the show. Walk off.
So-
yeah, walk off. Ben Stein's related to George Stein.
What needs to be said.
He's
But
poor now. Everyone won his money.
yeah. So I think he's got a few more zeros than I do. So,
Okay,
yes.
fair enough, George. For those of you that want to help George catch up with Ben Stein, send all money, attention George Stein, to the Yeah Come On show. We'll make sure he gets it.
How did you destroy your sheets after Southside stayed at your house?
Damn.
Incinerator?
No, we just set him on fire. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Call the fire department.
And Southside's like, it's about time that the Rickmans roll back in.
I'll be honest
And
with
the
you.
Buckalars.
I was dating a sales chick from Peach. Yeah, she worked for Peach at the time, and I was at 96 Rock. And I took her to your place, not in St. Martin, but your place in Florida. Where was that?
And North Naples,
North-
Bonita Springs. Yeah.
All right, well, I flew in somewhere, and we went to North Naples, Bonita Springs, or whatever. George gave me the directions. I show up, and once we got there, we're like, oh, let's take a walk. And we go by this pond, and an alligator almost killed us. I'm like, damn. And George goes, yeah, there's an alligator in that pond. I'm like, you think you couldn't have told me that before I came down here? I wouldn't have walked around the effing pond, George.
Go for a swim with the old lady. No.
But you had a nice couch in there, and it was a cool little condo. I don't know, what was that for? Is that just your getaway?
Yeah,
or-
it was just a little, a little townhouse getaway.
There was an accident there that could have been black lighted, and I cleaned it best of my ability, and she moved. Not my fault. I'm like, I'm going here, and you moved, and now we got a problem. And my friend George Stein's going to see it, and because I think this is a suede couch, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I called in a suede cleaner and got it all cleaned
Yeah.
up.
Put some resolve on there.
Yeah. So things happen, George. That comes with when you have these nice places and you send people like me there, we're going to be like, it's my chance to be George Stein. I'm like, oh, I own all this. Yeah, I'm big man. What's going on? I'm nudie tootie. Let's get weird.
Were you about to say it comes with the territory?
It does.
That was a
It comes
good
with the
pun
territory.
there.
It comes with the territory.
I know that you're personal injury and DUI, but I found this, and I'm going to call this, I wrote law in the news, but I'm going to write lewd in the news. That's what I'm going to call this. It's a story I saw online today, and I want to see if you can figure out what should happen with this. It's a case, obviously. Tilly Buchanan, she's 27. She's fighting against 3 counts of lewdness towards a child after taking her top off in her own home in West Valley City. I believe this is in Utah, in front of her 3 stepchildren between the ages of 9 and 13. Buchanan claims she and her husband, Jared, removed their tops while installing insulation in their garage to rinse off the itchy material from their skin. She says the 3 stepchildren, 2 boys, age 13, and a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old girl, whatever, then appeared embarrassed. When her husband and 3 children walked in, she explained she considers herself a feminist and wanted to make a point that everybody should be fine with walking around the house or else showing their skin, whatever. That's what her lawyer said. Basically, this woman is...
You're a great reader, by the way.
Yeah, I'm skipping ahead because I just put too much into this. The charges could result in jail time, like 10 years, and her being on the registered sex offenders list for her taking her clothes off. Basically, the mother found out, called the cops.
Yeah, but they're her kids too,
They're
right?
her stepkids.
Yeah, but still.
And this is in her house, in her own garage. Yeah. Is that considered lewdness?
You would think that some things that happen in the privacy of your own home are allowed to, but you always have to, think about how society has a policy of protecting children, basically, protecting the kids. And so you have to always weigh the freedoms that you're supposed to have in your own house and weigh them up against the appropriateness of the behavior.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like maybe a little bit more was going on than what the spin was that her lawyer put on there. And so if the kids were offended or shocked or, and God forbid the mother-in-law finds out about it, then it sounds like a legitimate law. A lot of times when you have people charged with these sorts of things and it's in the old house, in their own house, the lawyer will challenge the legitimacy of the statute to find it, to be possibly unconstitutional.
Okay,
So-
and you, George, because George has been divorced a few times. Let's just get it out there.
Matter of fact, twice. Yeah.
Twice. He has been divorced twice. The first time, it's like, she took the poodles and crushed George.
Right.
Not your fault. And then you had another one. But let's just think about it. With the girlfriend you're presently dating, if you had your two girls, which George has an incredible gymnast daughter, he has an incredible party girl daughter, and then he has a son that is a God-given athlete stud monster. What would you do? Do you think your ex-wife would get upset if your present girlfriend was topless in the house?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're all adults here.
But call
Yeah.
the cops
Yeah.
and have them arrested for lewdness, have them looking at 10 years in prison
Yeah.
and
No.
have to join the sex offenders.
Well, no, I
registered sex
mean,
offenders
listen,
list?
it'd be a different standard if they're over 18. And actually, I don't think my son would object to it. But
No, your son would love it.
But
Roll Tide.
my daughter.
Sorry. Had to.
My daughters would, and it'd be inappropriate behavior no matter what age.
And as we're closing up the show here, I just want to mention, because your one daughter, I think, would welcome the acknowledgement because she sends stuff to me, Angela Stein.
Yes.
Your daughter. This is your oldest daughter. Can you give the background on her, a gymnast? And she worked with who didn't she work with what are the guys that come in and put up the big tent?
Yeah, circus.
Cirque du Soleil,
Yeah. Yes.
whatever. Dude, she's incredible. She can tightrope tight. You know when you walk the tightrope?
Yeah, it's like tightrope, slack rope.
Yeah, she
Whatever.
does the rope thing, and we'll do a flip and land on the rope. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's called the Russian bar. It's just like a
Unbelievable.
little tiny line, and you flip in the air and do 3 or 4 flips in the air, and then
Wham.
come down on it. So she's when she was in college, she was a nationally prominent level 10 gymnast at the University of Wisconsin.
Oh, go Badgers.
And did really well and won some championships, and then got involved with acrobatic circus, and currently still does some of that for their corporate division events. And so it's a great thing to see a child who's a successful athlete.
And
Started gymnastics at age 5.
Unbelievable. And what is Angela doing now? We can find Angela on Facebook or?
Yes, if you go to AngelaStein.com, you can find her, and then she's doing a lot of stuff on YouTube right now too.
Yeah. I knew that she was.
With her boyfriend, who's a real physical specimen.
Yeah, they're beautiful together.
Yes, they are.
I mean, George, I know you never want to see your daughter, have relations, but based on their two bodies, it would probably be okay to watch.
Yes. So
Sorry. Look,
Her got it on.
they were just
every once in a while, there's a line that should be cut for all moral reasons, but it's not because it's the Yeah, Come On show. I apologize.
Yes, no problem. So, yeah, they came to St. Martin with me, her and her boyfriend. And
Did
so,
you stare at him? I'd have been like, y'all are so perfect. Not together, just each other. I mean, you're specimens. Because your she's a specimen too. God bless you, Angela.
Absolutely.
Angela Stein. But anything else you want to mention, my brother?
I think we are good. It's certainly my pleasure to be here, Steve. You're an old friend, and it's always great to see you. And I look forward to seeing you this weekend at the Great American Motorcycle Show, and the following weekend at Atlantic Station. And it's always my pleasure to see you and spend time with you.
There you go, my brother. American Motor Show this weekend, Cobb Galleria, Saturday and Sunday. We'll be there together, 11 to 2 on Saturday, and then the beer festival. It's the Winter Beer Festival. That's at Atlantic Station on the 29th. I'll see you there. Our guest today, George Stein, the DUI lawyer, personal injury, steel horse law, author, and judo expert. All ranked. Unbelievable. And then there's us.
Subscribe.
Share.
At the Yeah Come On Show. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere.
You heard it there, Mr. Brett
Show some
Barney.
love.
Thank you, Brett Barney. Thank you, Tyler Mader, the on-again, off-again producers hitting all the buttons. I'm Southside Steve, and this is the Yeah Come On Show, brought to you by Circle 285. Yeah, come on.